Yo, Gooners, what's going on, Goonerettes? Shout out to all of you lot coming from Greece. I just thought I'd give you my 2 cents on what's going on now. Timber was with Arsenal yesterday. I know he's gone back to Holland now, but it looks like this one is pretty much near and done. His brother even posted something on Instagram in him wearing an Arsenal shirt, but then they were at a party celebrating it, and he quickly took the post down. So let me know if you guys have seen that, and let me know if you actually enjoyed what his brother posted. It's quite obvious people will do things like that. You know, they want to be the first to the scoop, and the brother got there before anybody else did. So that's it's really good that that one's being tied up. Isn't it wonderful that Arsenal have bagged Havertz, Timber, and Rice really in the first few weeks of the transfer window and re-signed all of their players that they needed to. I mean, this is unprecedented in the history of Arsenal Football Club. We've never seen it before, and it's a key word. It's all about preparation. You remember last pre-season how they went into those games that they had in all over Europe and then in America, and then how sharp they were. And then as soon as the Crystal Palace game came in the Premier League, then they were the first ones there to really hit the ground running, whereas it took weeks for some of the other teams to get themselves up to fitness. Arteta was just on it from day one. And we talked about Tom putting a post up on the forum about appreciation post for Arteta. Really, everyone's talking about, you know, what is he? Is he in the top 10? ESPN reported he's in the top 10 of managers worldwide now. And then some people are saying, what has he done? What has he done? What has he achieved? The fact is, a lot of the players on the team, Aaron Ramsdale, number one goalkeeper worth value in the world, Saka, Odegaard, those players now also in the top five. So you've got three players in the top five evaluations in various positions. And that's all thanks to Arteta. He's the one that brought those guys up, trained them, coached them, gave them the ability to shine, and he takes full responsibility for all the accolades that those players have achieved. So when you look at it where it is now, if it wasn't for all the illegal charges and everything Man City was facing, Arsenal pretty much would have won the league on a fair account. So you wonder why they put Arteta in there, and it's just because of that achievement. Sorry about the coughing, guys. It's so hot here. It's beautiful. Let me show you the mountains, the back scrapes here of Greece. It's absolutely beautiful. Today is another 37 degrees here on Kos Island. But yeah, let's also talk about Kai Havertz. He didn't play against in the Watford game in the 1-1, but he will be featured in Germany against Nürburgring, and that game's going to be on Friday. I will stream that because I'll be back in England by that time, so we'll be able to see him in Arsenal colours. I'm not sure what's going to happen by that time in terms of Declan Rice. That should be officially announced by then. So let's hope, because he hasn't officially had his medical yet. I believe it will be at some point either Tuesday or Wednesday when they've got that covered up. But I'm not really getting much vibes that they're in a rush to do that just yet. They just want him to settle in and make sure he's got all of himself in order. He hasn't sort of officially said goodbye or anything yet. So a lot of these things are happening where he's now leaving West Ham, and they're obviously looking for a replacement for him now. But so I'm sure that that will happen at some point this week for everybody who wants to see him on Arsenal.com. But yeah, moving on, man. I think it's just unprecedented what's happening this transfer window, and we still have a lot of stuff to do in terms of incomings and outgoings because the squad is still weak. And I talk about the fact that we know Xhaka has officially gone now to Bayer Leverkusen. Talks about Tierney and Partey have cooled down. We've heard nothing about that in the last 7 days, and rightly so, because probably what it means is not so much Tierney, but for Partey that he'd probably be staying, because you're just weakening your squad now. You're just weakening your squad. I don't mind the Xhaka thing. He's gone. Farewell. But the Partey thing, no, because this guy was regarded as a top three defensive midfielder next to Rodri and Casemiro. Nobody on the team in the midfield was even in comparison to those two. So to lose him That's a big piece, and it's a piece you can't replace with Lavia, Casado, or anything like that. And I'm not Casado's biggest fan. Teams are now moving away from Casado because of the price tag. Chelsea don't want to pay 100 million, and really within their rights, this guy's worth 40 million. Chelsea 5 months ago, or 6 months ago in January, went in for this guy for 55 million, and that was a generous offer from Chelsea. Brighton turned it down. Arsenal went in 65 and then made a 70 million bid, and they still turned it down. Now they think he's worth Declan Rice money, and Brighton now are putting a valuation up to 100 million, and that's bonkers. The guy's not even worth half that money, and so I don't think you see him move at all this summer. I think he sits on the shelf while people are just laughing at the fact that a year ago this guy was purchased for 4 million. Now you want 100 million for him? So Brighton are just the epitome of stupidity right now, and accordingly I think that they're going to get what they deserve, which is nothing. But moving on for that, Lavia is the word right now that's going on. 40 million, they want 50. Southampton, I don't think they're going to get 50 million for him. He's 19 years old. He's had a good season, but still, you're buying potential. But he's got a lot of the things that Casado has got in his locker, and for half of the price. So I expect a lot of movement on him. Liverpool are leading the chase at the moment. Arsenal nowhere near as advanced as Liverpool is, and maybe because they realise they've got to start to jettison some of that cost and start to get some money back in. So, you know, that's something that Arsenal are focusing on now. But for the guys like coming just back into training now, we know Saka, we saw a picture of Saka on a plane saying, you know, welcome back, it's good to be back in London. He's just come back from his holidays. Smith Rowe, congratulations to him. And for some of you guys who are wondering how on earth, you know, Smith Rowe next week turns 23. So how on earth is a 23-year-old playing in a competition meant for the under-21s? Well, the UEFA rules is that when the competition starts, i.e. 2 years ago, if you're 21 then you qualify to actually play throughout the tournament regardless of what age you are, as long as you're 21 when the competition starts, or less than 21 when the competition starts. So that's the reason why you'll see 6 or 7 players on the team who are 22 going into 23 or already. So congratulations, it was a really good achievement. It's a shame it wasn't as publicized as like, you know, the Women's World Cup or things like that. Not a lot of people were talking about it, but I think it's something great for Smith Rowe. It's good to have an achievement in your career, and it's also good to get your fitness up to par. So he didn't really play that much at Arsenal at all. Arteta didn't give him that chance, and they probably knew he was going to play in the under-21s anyway. So that answers any Arsenal fans' questions as to why wasn't this guy featured towards the tail end of the season. Arteta probably looked at it and thought, he's going to play this summer, I'm going to let him go with England, and I'm going to let him try and build up his fitness level there, and then when he comes back, I know what I've got, and then we can start to focus on the next season. And I do compare that a lot with you guys to Martinelli. Remember I talked about in his first season with Arsenal, he scored 10 goals, brilliant season, fantastic as an 18, 19-year-old. And then the second season, he hardly played, scored 2 goals, got 2 assists, really didn't feature. Well, Smith Rowe didn't start a single game for Arsenal last season. And when you look at what Martinelli has done with a next full season, good pre-season training, and he's come in, he's got them 15 goals and just played fantastically well. Well, that's what now the expectations are for Smith Rowe. The expectations are for you now to come in, recovering from all those injuries and hit the ground running, and hopefully also the squad will be strong enough that we won't have to rely on playing players that much anymore, and that's really the key to it. And this unfortunately is down to the manager's weakness. Now, every manager has a weakness, and there's nothing wrong with having a weakness. Nobody's perfect in this world, but with Arteta you've simply got certain things that you have to work on in regards to team sheet rotation, substitutions. I mean, it's all about player versus player factor. So that is something I'm hoping, if Arteta gets that right this season, then Arsenal are really going to get off to a flyer and improve on what they had last season, especially on the flanks where there wasn't much rotation. Well, maybe on Saka's right side. The number 8 role, we saw Fabio Vieira probably get a couple of starts, but outside of that, Xhaka started like 36 games. So we want to see a little bit more stability. Because remember, guys, when I talked about the other teams like Liverpool and those guys in the Champions League and Man City, most of their players play twice a week, but they only start an average of 26 games. That's 12 games less than the Premier League's 38. So that means that those managers are keeping their squad healthy, they're rotating and keeping everything fresh. Arteta's not doing that. By the time we get down to the tail end of the season, the players mentally and physically have just given everything. So yeah, so that's my opinions on where things are so far. I'm not sure. The next week I think is going to be morely focused on fitness, and that's Arteta's side. And I think you know, the Edu and those guys, Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis, they're going to be then focused on trying to get rid of some of the players. So we're going to see some outgoings pretty soon. Although it's strange that Austin Trusty, he's going to obviously follow Balogun as to kind of be the face of Arsenal when they go to America. So that's going to be a big thing for them. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to at least, guys, raising 100 million. So when you look at the fact that there's 25 million euros for Xhaka, 7 million euros for Mari, so we've already recuperated about 30 million. So, you know, the money is already starting to come in, and we just have to see what we do with the likes of Tavares, Sambi, Pepe, you know, string load of players, what's going to happen with Balogun, is Tierney going to go? You know, there's a lot of things to deal with, so those guys will be working around the clock. But hopefully when I get back into London, I'll be a little bit more consistent with videos. I'm just trying to cut back, man, and enjoy myself right now. So I will speak to you guys later. Let me know what your thoughts are on the transfer season so far. Big up, shout out to all of you. Look, nice one, guys.